Hi guys, the Tories and to a lesser extent Labour have talked about ensuring that the French police and Coast Guard make it more difficult for asylum seekers to cross the English Channel. As we know, small boat crossings are up in respect to this time last year. Rishi Sunak has responded by saying that the Rwanda Bill is acting as a deterrent. But while it is causing some people in Great Britain to flee to Ireland and others to go underground, its aim was to stop people crossing from France in the first place. Zoe Gardner, a migration policy researcher, blew a massive hole in the Tories' narrative, but she also pointed out why deaths in the sea are rising as a direct result of the actions of both the British and French governments. Have a listen.
Good morning, Zoe. Thanks for joining us. Since the bill passed, has there been any evidence that the deterrent aspect is working?
No, I'm afraid absolutely no evidence of that. People are still attempting the crossing. What we've seen is actually in the first few months of this year, a huge increase in the rate of deaths at the border. And colleagues on the ground in France are telling me that that's directly related to police operations that are forcing people to move further down the coast or take more dangerous departure points. So what this is doing is it is forcing people into different and more dangerous routes, but it's not actually making anyone disappear.
The Rwanda Bill passing has caused more deaths.
Well, the Rwanda Bill is in conjunction with increases every week. I think we hear about another police operation, another joint operation, patrols and so on. And that's what that enforcement approach that doesn't give people an alternative way to travel is forcing people to take more dangerous routes instead of the ones that they've been taking previously.
That's interesting. We're going to be talking to Yvette Cooper later, and Labour's announcing a new border security commander and new border security command. So we need to get more details of this plan. But clamping down in France is also as dangerous as the Rwanda plan. Is that the suggestion?
Yeah, well, there's a direct relationship to the deaths that we're seeing. There have been 22 deaths this year. That's a 450% increase on the same period last year. And as I say, folks on the ground are saying that's directly related to the police operations. So, saying big words like commander and elite police force, it doesn't really get us anywhere if we don't provide the people there with a safe alternative. They need a solution. They exist. They're there. We have to address that.
We've only got a very brief time left, but so should the UK not in any way attempt to stop the small boats?
I don't think anybody's against the operations against smugglers, but what we have to do, again, is take away the market for the smugglers, because you take away one smuggler, but there's still a refugee in a closed border, well, somebody else will fill that market gap. You take away the market by providing people with safe ways to travel, and that would be regulated, it would be secure, and I think that would solve the problem much better than either the Rwanda plan or, another elite police force.
Zoe, thanks so much for joining us. Sorry we were so tired.
Well said, Zoe. And it makes perfect sense. Common sense. If people want to arrive in Britain, increasing the police force in France or increasing the operations of the Coast Guard in France is not going to make that much of a difference because, as she had pointed out, people will just move away from where the police operations are. They'll move away from Calais, further down the coast, which of course increases the distance they have to travel, which increases the risk, and also makes it more difficult for where they cross from. Maybe they're also operating at different times of the day, maybe at night, to avoid the police. So this increases the risk. And instead of actually creating a situation where you just remove one smuggler and replace them with another, instead it makes more sense, logical sense, to remove the business model. And how do you remove the business model? By creating a safe route, as Zoe has pointed out here. You have both parties, the Conservatives who are talking about Rwanda, and you have Labour who are talking about increasing checks and creating a new force, a command and stuff like this. This is nonsensical because if you remove the business model, you create safe routes, it means that you have nobody dying in the Channel, or very, very few dying in the Channel. You have both parties, even the Conservatives, who are saying we want to stop people dying in the Channel. We'll leave Reform UK aside for a moment. But Labour and the Conservatives are saying we want to stop the deaths in the Channel. Well, this would stop the deaths, creating a safe route, or processing claims in France, which the French government have said that they were willing to do. But instead, it's tough rhetoric that's been presented to the public. I understand that Labour need to win the next general election, and they need to appear tough on the issue of immigration. But it's nonsensical to waste money on being tough, when the reality on the ground is that people will cross the channel no matter what barriers are put in place. They don't want to stay in France. They want to be in Britain. If you care about their lives, then you'd create a safe route for them to arrive, and then process the claims and deport people who have no right to be in the country, and allow those who want to be in the country and who have a right to move on to refugee status and then eventually rebuild their lives. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.